Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism. This video is sponsored by contribution from Carter Pewterschmidt. Before I get to Carter's video, though, if you have one available, please hype this video, get some traction, get some views, and it'll help out with the channel. So Carter sent in this article about the Pitidiots. And kind of backing up, my solution to the Pitidiot problem. Just euthanize the pit bulls. This isn't about the dogs, and it's not about the dogs. It's about the owners and their need to project power through dangerous animals. If you were given the option of keeping a landmine in your house that would do nothing for months or perhaps even years other than looking somewhat out of place on your bookshelf, but it would one day almost certainly explode and either badly wound you, kill your child, or both, would you accept the offer and keep it around? Or would you simply reject the landmine and stay away from all those who keep such things in their homes? Would your no answer change to yes if I told you the landmine costs hundreds or thousands of dollars a year to maintain? It has absolutely no benefits whatsoever to its existence and accounts for 70% of home decor-related deaths. Hopefully not. Yet, such is the decision made by the millions of Americans who own pit bulls, the worst breed of all dogs, and somewhere between 10 and 20% of the dogs in America. So pit bulls are about, dog bite fatalities between 2010 and 2021. Pit bulls, 69.6%. Rottweilers, 11%. German Shepherds, 4.9%. And then so on and so forth. So we can see where the problem is coming from. It is a dog with no redeeming characteristics. However, many pictures of pit bulls, photoshopped, flower halos are posted to Facebook. The truth is they are extremely and irrationally violent by their very nature. As Alexander Cortez put it on X, pit bulls were bred to be satanic killdozers for dogfighting. The puppies will cannibalize each other. They are a selective breeding mistake. This is from Plastosics MD, so he must be a plastic surgeon. Roughly 60 to 70% of the time I take care of a dog bite in the emergency room, it was a pit bull. And almost always it was a family or neighbor's dog that never harmed anyone and, quote, just snapped. Will never let my kids be around pit bulls. From Sarah Fernandez, Dr. Sarah, pediatric plastic surgeon here. In my experience, it's more like 80 to 90%. And my point is, like, you can go and you can write these stories and you can show these Pitidiots these stats, but if it weren't for these stats, the Pitidiot wouldn't want the dog in the first place, because what's the purpose of the dog? The purpose is to project power through a dangerous animal. How do you project power? You project power by knowingly possessing an animal that is known to cause 80 to 90% of the fatalities and injuries due to dog attacks. That's how. As such, they can't be trusted to do anything. They are impossible to train. Even professional dog trainers find them impossible to train satisfactorily. And most who own them aren't exactly professional dog trainers. Exactly. Anybody who's telling you they're a pit bull dog trainer, they're a hack. They are not real dog trainers. Told you when we had Canine at Macy's, and they were asked about pit bulls, the guys we bought our shepherds from, and they're absolutely not. No way, no how. Anybody using a pit bull as a working dog is an idiot. You don't know what these dogs will do. It doesn't matter if you've had them since birth. It doesn't matter if you've known them how many years. They could snap at any time. And when they do, their bite grip is twice the amount of a shepherd. Good luck when that happens. At least the other somewhat violent and dangerous breeds, such as German Shepherds, can be trained to behave properly and not explode into an orgy of violence for no reason whatsoever. Rhodesian Ridgebacks are tough as nails and vicious enough to take down healthy adult lions, but they also can be trained to play well with kids. They aren't just heat-seeking missiles with teeth that'll switch on without rhyme or reason. Foxhounds will revel in tearing a fox to pieces, but can also trot around and hunt ball without turning it into a bloodbath. German Shepherds can rip up drug dealers for the cops or play tug-of-war in your den. While capable of immense violence, other breeds, like the war horses of old, can be trained to act as directed rather than in an unexpected explosion of instinctual violence. Pit bulls lack that redeeming characteristic. They cannot be trained or trusted. They are instead, by their very nature, loose cannons characterized by their being very extremely and irrationally violent. And you can't explain this to the Pitidiot until it happens to them. Then they'll listen. But none of this is explainable. You cannot convince this to the Pitidiot until it happens to them. This is why there has to be forced confiscation of these dogs, and they need to be euthanized. Because as long as you have cluster B personality and sociopaths and looking to project power through a dangerous animal, they are going to be breeding these dogs. Yet still, pit bulls have their vociferous defenders who claim there is nothing wrong with the breed. Pit bulls account for 70% of dog attack deaths despite composing just 10% of the dog population, they exclaim. Not because of any problems inherent with their breeding, but purely because of socioeconomic factors. Hence posts like this one from Regina Major. Don't demonize an entire breed because the people are ignorant and can't handle the breed. I have a pit bull and am a responsible owner, but you don't address the person, just the breed. I hope the man is okay, but your comments are unsettling. So obviously responding to somebody being attacked. And again, just like most of the left, these people are anti-humanity. Other than their own humanity, that they care about. Much as when we're given much the same refrain about the cannibals from the Congo or pirates from Somalia imported by the tender-hearted, it rarely goes well. Instead, the loose cannons bred to cause immense carnage at the drop of a hat act exactly as they were bred to. And so posts about why we shouldn't demonize the pit bull breed are almost inevitably followed by those like the one below. The irrationally violent heat-seeking missile with teeth will turn on without rhyme or reason and maul its loving owner, no matter how stridently its owner defended it online. From the same woman, Regina Major. Oh dear God, please intervene as only you can. Now she wants God. Now you want God. I was brutally mauled by, and I don't mean to laugh, but I'm laughing at the irony, man. I was brutally mauled by my own pit bull I had for 10 years since he was a puppy on October the 9th. I felt life slipping away from me, and as I was airlifted to a trauma center in New Jersey, I prayed so hard, and God answered, do not lose hope. You wanted to play with God. God made that dangerous animal as a warning, as a demon dog. And he gave you a choice. You didn't want to listen to God. You didn't want to listen to God until that demon turned on you. Then you came running. This reminds me of Pit Bull for Dummies. The author of the book regrets writing it. Why? Because her pit bull did what pit bulls do. It randomly attacked her other dog. I am the author of Pit Bulls for Dummies. I will not have another after they, without warning, attacked and almost killed my other dog who they've been best buddies with for their entire lives. One of them choked my Saluki unconscious and ran around the house with her like a panther with a dead gazelle while we tried to get her to let her go. When they're good, they were delightful. When they were bad, they were deadly. And that is the author of Pit Bulls for Dummies. And that's how fast they'll turn to your side. It's not until it affects them do they actually care. Thus, the 10 equals 70 calculation holds true, and the inevitable statico drumbeat of deadly attacks continues for no good reason. Dog breeds with the most attacks of death. Pit bulls, let's see, 3,397 attacks, 295 deaths. Next one is the Rottweiler with 535 attacks and 8 deaths. They're not even comparable. What is this? Presa Canera, is that like a Cane Corso? 111 attacks, 18 deaths. Hybrid Wolf Dog, 85-19. Siberian Husky, 26. Akita, 8. Boxer, 7. Chow Chow, 8. And so on and so forth. It's not even comparable. 295 deaths. The next one is 26 by a Siberian Husky. Stop. And if it wasn't for these stats, they wouldn't want the dog in the first place. Which dog breeds were most likely to bite people in New York City? Department of Health. Pit bulls. We're out here. Next one is a terrier. It's not even double, triple, quadruple the number. It doesn't even matter. Of course, there's an easy solution to this. Ownership of pit bulls could require special permitting, be burdened with onerous insurance rates commensurate with the costs such creatures are likely to impose on society, or just be banned outright. No, they just need to be banned outright because they'll always find loopholes, these people. And then they'll lie. It's not a pit bull. It's not a pit bull. It's a boxer. It's a this. And then you're going to have to go through all this expensive genetic testing because they're pathological liars on top of it. You just have to ban the breed. There's no other answer. You have to ban the breed. And I know, don't miss me. This one's a good one and this one, no, I know. I know you had reservations yourself and now you found one and they're great with your pets. And then just watch it. Just watch it. Before you start removing gates and doors and all that, just make sure. But there's no way to make sure because these things just snap out of nowhere. That's the fact. Any combination of such policies would mostly work, at least make pit bull ownership a rarity rather than a lurking problem that afflicts every public space. We'd no longer be burdened with these creatures chomping at the bit on hiking trails, walking paths, and grocery stores, fearing a life or death encounter if the breeze blows the wrong way and its distracted-looking owner lets the leash slip. Yet, such easy solutions aren't enacted. We lack the will to terminate the massive net negatives, that lack of any redeeming characteristics, and so they continue afflicting us with their presence. To summarize, there is a major problem we face, and it imposes only net negatives on society. Yet further, the solution will require the mere imposition of will rather than any real effort. Still less an exotic or esoteric problem solving. It's a classic case of the fix everything easily switch. We could just press the button, solve the problem, and move on without the cost formally imposed by the problem continuing to inflict us. Doing so would bring only benefits. And you can't do that switch. This is the same sort of situation that President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador faced. His country has been overtaken by a collection of murderous Barrio 18 and MS-13 gangsters who imposed only costs on it, wreaking havoc and making legitimate economic activity all but impossible. Yet worse, the country's judiciary was entirely corrupt and acted mainly to protect the gangsters from aggrieved citizens and law enforcement. So he pressed the fix everything easily switch. First, the scoundrel judges were arrested and replaced by ones who weren't corrupt. Then the gangsters were rounded up in their thousands, with what amounted to the entire criminal underclass finding itself in crowded prisons that could be best classified as hell on earth. There they pay for their sins daily in sweltering pens surrounded by baton-wielding officers. Meanwhile, El Salvador thrives, with the economy booming as the crime rate of what was once the most dangerous nation on the earth falls below that of Canada. El Salvador became safer than the U.S. in 2023. Homicides per 100,000 people, there were over 100. Now it's 2, 3. That's a hell of a job. When you have the will, you can do whatever you want. Turns out all it takes to stop gangsters in the criminal underclass from ruining everything is, well, stopping them. Even if the gallows works better, vast prison warehouses still work. Crime is a policy choice, not an immutable fact of life. There are countless such problems we face, all of which have similarly simple solutions. Our cities are more violent than active war zones overrun by drug dealers, drug users, vagrants, gangsters, and the like. Most of the crime and problem are committed by a relative handful of people, the pitbull Americans, who are just as irrationally violent and apt to go berserk without rhyme or reason as the dogs they love owning, projecting power through dangerous animals. In New York City, for example, Mayor Adams revealed that just 38 transit system criminals were responsible for another 1,126 crimes across the city, and 542 shoplifters were linked to 7,600 other crimes. The problem could be solved immediately by hanging or imprisoning them. There is nothing positive they contribute to that city or America. They only impose negative costs, and those costs are massive. They make life worse in every way they touch. Pressing the fix everything button would solve all the countless problems to which they are connected and take nothing more than a relative thimble of effort. Chances are it would even be quite popular. The same sort of thing is true of most other issues. Take, for example, the Somalis in Minnesota. They've been connected to at least $18 billion in fraud and likely much more. The amount of money that has probably been stolen from Minnesota taxpayers is larger than Somalia's entire GDP. What is the purpose of keeping them in America? They have a huge net negative cost to the treasury, contribute nothing net positive to the country, don't assimilate, aren't patriotic, uniformly support the race communist left, and are otherwise terrible. Like pit bulls, their presence is always a worst-case scenario rather than ever being for the best. They could simply be deported back to the hellhole whence they came. There are only 260,000 or so of them, so they aren't hidden all over the country like other invader groups, and they stick out like sore thumbs. Someone like Eric Prince could round them up and deport them in the space of a week, and nothing but positives would come from that. But instead of flipping the switch, we are instead told we must import millions more pit bulls from pitbull land, which is a violent hellhole because pit bulls are extremely and irrationally violent. Just think what issues make your life worse. Vagrants fouling up public spaces. Repeat offenders making public transportation unusable. Foreign fraudsters draining the treasury and forcing you to pay onerous taxes to subsidize their lifestyles. Illegal alien truckers making the highway unsafe. Illegal aliens committing immense amounts of crime. Food prices driven ever higher by SNAP handouts, or perhaps pit bulls plaguing hiking trails. There's a fix everything easy switch that could be just pressed. It should just be pressed. Someone like Bukele or Lee Kuan Yew would press it. In fact, it is the very switch our ancestors pressed when they used hangings to build European civilization. What we need is a leader who will press it. We need the Trump of the left's fever dreams to exist and do what they fear. We need a ladder with the harshness of Sulla and the longevity of Augustus and the competence of Lee Kuan Yew. Yes, some problems are complex and don't have a fix-everything-easy switch. Trade redomesticating industry is one such example. Tariffs help but aren't an easy or simple fix, but there are other problems that, like the pitbull problem, are easily solvable. All they require is a level of will necessary to inflict the harsh but simple solution for which the situation calls. it's time to do that, to follow the footsteps of Bukele and flip the switch to fix the problem. And he's right. Whether it's the pit bull problem or the domestic problem, there is a fix. There is an easy fix. There is an easy fix. You just have to have the will to flip it. So, going to leave it there. Euthanize all the pit bulls. Confiscate, euthanize, and eliminate the breed. Sorry, not sorry. So, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Carter, for another contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you want to expose, you want to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, then you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to subscribe to both my channels on Rumble. If you haven't watched the video over there, please do. Even a click helps. Follow me on TikTok, X, and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism.